The cherry blossom season was already in full swing as we made our way to Kanazawa after 2 rainy days in Kyoto. This time, it was a short, picturesque journey on a slow train across the island of Honshu, very different from the Shinkansen rushing at 300 kilometers an hour we had taken before. The scenery was moving gently outside. My friend and I were sitting with our coffees from the station, making loose plans for the next days. Kanazawa is a city of around 450,000 people, small by Japanese standards and relatively young, with just over 400 years of history. It is home to the famous Kenrokuen Garden and is also known for its gold leaf production. It was our second week in Japan, and we still couldn't get over it. The nature, the architecture, the old wooden houses, and the quiet kindness of people that you could almost feel in the air. And then, of course, the cherry blossoms. That was the reason we came in early April. Trees in full bloom and women in colorful kimonos posing in front of soft clouds of pink and white. Our home for the next 2 nights was in a quiet residential area, a small studio next to the house of our Airbnb hosts. We had already had good experiences with accommodation, with one small exception in Kyoto, but this place was on a different level. They welcomed us in person, speaking limited English, still much better than our Japanese, and an incredibly friendly and talkative couple in their mid 60s. The apartment had everything we would need, including drinks, fruit, and even fresh bread, something we hadn't expected in this country. We communicated mostly through Google Translate. It was a big improvement compared to our struggles in China a few years earlier, even if the occasional translation made things funny. Almost immediately, our host invited us for dinner the following evening, checking if we liked sashimi. I was already familiar with Japanese food, my friend much less so, but I was quite sure she would enjoy it, especially in a place like this. Our daily routine had been simple. Breakfast was usually eggs with fried cabbage and rice, easy to find in any of the countless 7-Eleven shops. And during the day, we would grab one or two onigiri, rice wrapped in nori with salty or sour fillings. Dinner depended on where we were and how tired we felt. After walking 10 to 18 kilometers a day, there was often not much energy left. Kenrokuen Garden and the adjacent castle were absolutely stunning. The sky was clear, the air crisp, almost too fresh, but we didn't mind. Our cameras were in constant use, both the SLRs and our phones. It was heaven for my friend Angela, a professional photographer, and for me, a photographer at heart as well. Manicured lawns, small streams, bridges, and cherry blossoms everywhere. It was an intense day, and by the end of it, we were looking forward to dinner with Michiko and Takeru. The restaurant was in a residential part of town, away from the tourist areas, about 10 minutes from our place. It got quite cold in the evening, and being driven right to the door felt like a small luxury, especially with Takeru, a very traditional gentleman, using a small iPad to help with conversation. Inside, the place was small, with mustard-colored walls, dim lighting, and old pictures covering most of the space. Our table was ready. The owner, a friend of our hosts, greeted us. And then the food started to appear. 2 large plates of tuna and salmon sashimi, with wasabi and daiko, prawns tempura, maki, and a large bottle of sake. I had eaten sashimi before, but this was different. The fish was incredibly delicate. It almost melted. The prawns were just as good. Michiko was pouring sake into large glasses, almost as if it were water. The only place I had seen alcohol served like that before was Russia. I hadn't expected in Japan. They kept encouraging us to eat more and drink more. The sake disappeared quickly on their side, while we started to wonder who would be driving back and how to politely refuse another round. Too much sake meant a guaranteed headache the next day. Takeru seemed to enjoy the translated conversation, while Michiko made sure our glasses were never empty. With every sip, there was more laughter and somehow more closeness, despite the language barrier. An evening with people we had only met the day before, one I won't forget. Even when we were already full, we couldn't say no to matcha ice cream. But that is a story for another time. A friendly taxi driver brought all four of us back home, and Takeru gave us a lift to the train station the next day. There were hugs, something quite unusual there, and almost tears in our eyes. We both knew we would probably never see them again.